Adventurous kids explore with education and learning what a wildlife is in the Everglades. I want to explore the Museum of Discovering Science. What plants do butterflies like? I want to know about Key West. Adventurous kids, learning and fun. Adventurous kids!
Today I'm going to tell you about cells. Every organism or living thing is made up of structures called cells. Cells are the smallest building blocks of life. Some tiny organisms, such as bacteria, amoeba, and yeast, consist of only one cell. Large plants and animals have many billions of cells. Human beings are made up of more than 75 trillion cells. The study of cells is a branch of biology. Cells were discovered by the scientist Robert Hooke. The word cell comes from the Latin word cellia, which means small compartment. Cells exist in a variety of shapes and sizes. For example, they may be cube-shaped or disc-shaped. Others are shaped like wads or stars or blobs of jelly. It all depends on the job they do. Simple forms of life that have only one cell often look like a small box or a tiny ball. Nerve cells in humans look like a little tree. Red blood cells look like long red beans, and muscle cells are long and thin. There are so many nerve cells in your brain that it would take almost 3,000 years to count all of them. When many cells of the same kind are together in a group, it's called tissue. Most cells are so small that you cannot see them with your eyes alone. You need a microscope to make them seem larger. For example, about 10,000 human cells could fit on the head of a pin. Bacteria cells can be much smaller. Nerve cells are thin cells that can be as long as a meter. Not all cells are small. The yolk of a bird's egg is a single cell. The largest cell is the yolk of an ostrich egg. It is about the size of a baseball. Most many-celled organisms have cells of various kinds. The cells form different structures and perform different functions. Different types of animal cells, for example, form muscles, eyes, or teeth. Different plant cells form flowers, fruits, or seeds. There are lots of different types of cells. Although there are lots of different kinds of cells, they are often divided into two main categories, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Prokaryotic cells. The prokaryotic cell is a simple small cell with no nucleus. Organisms made from prokaryotic cells are very small, such as bacteria. Eukaryotic cells. These cells are typically a lot bigger and more complex than prokaryotic cells. They have a defined cell nucleus, which houses the cell's DNA. These are the types of cells we find in plants and animals. There are a lot of parts and functions to some cells. Here are some of the main components many cells have. Membrane. This is the outer boundary of the cell, sort of like the skin. It allows some substances in and keeps others out. Mitochondria. This is where the cell gets its energy. In the human body, food we have digested reacts with oxygen in the mitochondria to make energy for the cell. Ribosomes. Ribosomes are like tiny factories that make different things the cell needs to function, like proteins. Nucleus. The nucleus is the brains of the cell. It uses chromosomes to instruct the rest of the cell what to do next. Inside the nucleus is DNA, the substance genes are made of. Genes give living things their special traits. Cytoplasm. This is the stuff that fills up the rest of the cell. The other components of the cell float around in the cytoplasm. It's mostly water. Lysosomes. These guys clean up the place, getting rid of waste, and other unwanted substances that may get into the cell. Although they have many things in common, cells are different in many types of living things. The main types are plant cells and animal cells. Simpler organisms, including bacteria, are simpler cells. They have a membrane and cytoplasm but no nucleus. In plant cells, A rigid wall surrounds and protects the cell membrane. The wall is made of a woody substance called cellulose. A plant's cell walls make the plant stiff enough to grow tall. In addition, most plants have structures called chloroplasts in their cells. The chloroplasts contain a chemical called chlorophyll. This makes the plants green. Chlorophyll helps plants make food from the energy in sunlight. This process is called photosynthesis. Animal cells do not have cell walls. This allows animal cells to change more in size and shape than plant cells can. However, many-celled animals need structures such as bones to support their bodies. They also need shells or tough skins to protect them. Special cells form these structures. When a living thing grows, its cell grows larger and increases in number. Cells increase in number by dividing themselves into two cells that are exactly the same. This process of cell division is called mitosis. Often before a cell divides, it grows to twice its original size. Did you know that humans actually carry more bacterial cells than human cells? Thanks for watching this episode of Adventurous Kids.
What did you learn today?
Adventurous Kids!
Adventurous Kids!
What was the most interesting fact?
Adventurous Kids!
Adventurous Kids!
Adventurous